Okay. All right. I think I guess we took a break. And in the meantime, we launched 1.0 back in the end of July. It was great. I guess we took a break because we want people to spend more time working on 1.0. So we are resuming this working group meeting this week, and it will happen again in 2 weeks. So this is going to be bi-weekly going forward. Okay, and the agenda we have today are already on the screen. If you have anything else you want to discuss, feel free to add to it. This doc can be accessed at this URL. The first thing is we released 1.0.1 last Friday. If you're interested, this is the link. So Lynn actually brought up a question about release notes, and Martin and I are going to have a meeting to talk about like the exact mechanics, how we are going to release patch releases going forward, like how we can do a better job to announce it to all the available channels that people should know about all these new patch releases, and whether we will be creating release notes or not. I guess we will also discuss those. Does anyone here have any preference though? Like what kind of communication do you want to see other than emails or maybe blog posts regarding patch releases? Any ideas, opinions? No? Yeah, I guess if not, I'll just talk with Martin and come back with a plan. So I guess at the bare minimum, we probably will be writing a blog post about all the patch releases going forward. And then we may drop a mail to Istio announce, or maybe even Twitter. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So when we make blog posts, where do we do this? Do we have a specific blog for Istio?
Istio.io.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably after we have the release notes out, which could be out too.
Okay. And then looking ahead, we will probably be creating 1.0.2 based on need. And the criteria being if we find any critical bug in 1.0 that has not been addressed in 101, right? Or if we find new critical bugs in 101, we will be creating 102. But that is on demand and there is no fixed schedule so far. We created a tracker issue. If you find any critical bugs or if you have a reason why we need 102, feel free to add to this tracker. And along the same note, we will be shipping this monthly release, which is 1.1.0 snapshot 0. This is going to be the August release, and it will be cut from master. Right. So just to be clear, 1.101 and 102, if it's going to happen, they are cut from the release 1.0 branch. Right. So and all those work are based on the 1.0 release, and the 1.1 snapshot release will be cut from master. And it contains all the cutting edge features that people have added to master, including some KDE work as well. So I sent an email last week about the release candidate. I haven't heard anything, so I expect it's all good. And if I don't hear anything else, we will be cutting the monthly release either today or tomorrow.
Well, so the expectation is the user are not using this, right? It's the development team if they wish to use them.
Right. Only developers who have reasons to try out the cutting edge features.
Yeah,
They
so
can-
most
they can-
people probably haven't tried this other than maybe out of their own GitHub repository when they run the build.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But these are mainly meant for like checkpointing our progress and make sure we have a release every month.
Yep, I understand that. I was just saying the expectation is probably should be lower than our monthly release before the new process, because that's when a lot of people actually jump on and do testing. But now most people are actually not.
Right. I believe we actually clarified it on ECO.io. Oops.
And we won't make a splash about it. So that will be different than 101 or 10.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. Release cadence. So we specifically highlight the snapshot releases provided for the is supposed to be stable, but is not quite production ready.
Okay. So are you going to put this on github.com/istio/istio under the release, the binary download link? You know what I mean?
The snapshot release? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so
Yes.
it's still going to be there?
Yeah, all the
Because I think it
snapshot
might be
releases are there as well.
I think
But they
it might be
show up-
confusing. Oh, so it's going
They
to show
up as
pre-release.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good then.
So only the LTS and patch releases will be the actual release going forward.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Any other questions about the releases? If not, Seb is going to demo the release UI dashboard.
Sure. Yeah, so as you know, like basically we're running the release on Airflow, and the UI from Airflow, it's not really straightforward, and on top of it, most of the people can't access it. So we had a couple of interns coming, and so we decided to make a UI such that we can present the release that are in progress, and eventually being able to release from there. So the creation of the release, it's there, the button is there, but it doesn't do anything for now, because we didn't find a way to actually properly put it onto Airflow, but at least the UI and the presentation, let me make that a little bit bigger. The presentation of the release is there. So here we only have failed release, so it's not a good example, but like I think if we can actually filter by branch. It's gonna take a while, a little bit. Connection. Or not. But in any case, so you have all the release basically per. Oh, here we go. So all the release that actually started on the release 1.0 branch. So we have a daily, I think. Yeah, and a daily every day, and then the last one is the 101 that we did. I think last week. Yes, which failed. And then you can actually click on the release. You can see all the tasks, and you can see which actually tag didn't work. And here, in that case, it's the tagging. And then you have per task, you have a log that you can download. So if you're not familiar with the Airflow, the logs might be, a little bit. I don't want to say useless, but cryptic.
Intimidating.
Yeah, intimidating, cryptic, a little bit. And then you have all the link for the SHA that were used for that specific release. So let me open that. So you should see like the SHA. So that's useful information. And then you can click on download and go to the download page for that given release. So I think it's big improvement from what we have before, which is nothing.
And to take a step back, this is a dashboard that allows everyone in the community to see all the releases. It actually requires a GitHub login. So when you go to the dashboard, you have to log in using your Git.
Yeah. So I forgot to say that, but basically you need to approve access for the app to your token, and like any other GitHub, like Circus VI does the same thing, GitHub integration. And then once you log in, then you have access to everything. So the create release, you won't see it because you have to be a specific, like part of a specific group, and that's what we wanted to do. So we'll create a GitHub group, which, like if eventually we get that to work, we'll create a GitHub group so that only those people can create release, because we don't want to have everyone be able to create the release. And so I think right now, if you click on it, you can only put the attributes, because each release, based on the Airflow, the way we use Airflow, you need to call a specific run and then put the attribute that you want to. So we did that, but then that doesn't actually, even if you put that, it doesn't do anything, because the Airflow API is not that. Well, you can. There is actually no Airflow API, so it's kind of a drag.
And then if you go back and click on a successful release.
Yes, so the last daily from 1.0.
Right. So the most useful thing here is you see the repos links on top, right? Because very often, given a release, people have a hard time figuring out from which jar a particular release was built from, like from the ECO repository, API repository, and proxy repository. But this is a place where you can get all this information in one place, right? So it should be useful, at least from that perspective.
I can click on it. You should see the basically. Well, it's in the URL, but it should be also here. So that's it. Any comments? No.
Okay. So if you're interested, the link is on the here.
So is this something you expect people on call to do?
Eventually, yes. I guess the interns have just finished this. We probably have some polishing to do. But once we get to a more stable state, on-call can actually take a look at it and see why we are not having a release, for example.
Okay, so this will replace the old way to run like different scripts, and so it will be done from the create release button to create the release.
So the create release button will be restricted to just the release admins for now. I don't expect the on-call to be creating releases. But the on-call, I think the common question is we don't have a daily release today. Why? Right? We have something like that in the on-call playbook. But we don't have a very good way to present all the information. And this is one step toward that direction.
Okay, but the create release doesn't mean like create an official release, right? It could be a release just for a snapshot.
Yes, so it can create a daily release based on at head, or it can create a patch release, for example, from a particular batch.
Got it.
Right. You want to jump off?
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. This is Tiago. Do you guys have the source code for it? If
yeah. So yes,
for improvement or anything.
Oh yes. Let me add the GitHub location here as well.
So we put all the release related stuff in a different org. because we don't want to pollute the main Istio org. So the release UI is, so the org is Istio-release, and the repo is release UI, -UI. But everything is open source. And please, if you have knowledge in JavaScript and you know how to make this better, yeah, no problem. Accept this.
Yep, contributions welcome.
Thank you.
And the last item on the on today's agenda is Circle CI performance plan. Lynn and I had just had a meeting with a Circle CI representative, and they are they told us that they now have a performance plan, which is an upgrade to what we have right now, that is based on the number of containers. Right, so our plan is based on the number of containers, and we pay for the containers even we are not using them. With the newer performance plan, is based on the compute unit that we use.
Which is better.
And if we are not using anything, we are not supposed to pay as much as we are paying. But if we need more compute power, the PLs can get the required compute power much sooner than today. Because today, if we overwhelm the Circle resources, the PLs have to wait, right, until the test get the time to run. But with the newer plan, there's no wait time anymore. If there are 100 PLs trying to run Circle tests, they all will run.
Whoa.
But that will result in a higher bill. So that is one feature that they are selling. The other feature is that they will support Docker image caching with the new plan. That is supposed to reduce our build time as well, because the common Docker images will be cached.
But then on the weekend, as it is right now, we pay for all the container, although we're not using it, right?
Right. Well, there are some occasional PLs over the weekend.
Yeah, but it's not definitely getting into the. So we might even get a lower bill.
There is a chance that we get a lower bill, but and that's the reason why I actually asked the Circle folk to compute the build for us based on the usage from June and July when we are working on the 1.0 release. Right? So that should give us a better idea whether we would be paying higher or more based on like the higher usage plan. Right. So I guess feel free to add, Lynn. But I guess it boils down to number one, whether the new features are useful to us, and number two is whether we are paying at a higher or lower bill.
So Docker image caching probably won't help too much, but if we get it for free, doesn't matter, since we're not building too many Docker images in Circle, they are built locally. The other one, what is the bill currently? Do you know? I mean, is it something extremely high? Or?
I think they showed us like a 1,700 per month, something like that.
Yes.
Doesn't sound like a lot of money to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's for a company like Google, IBM, and the other feature.
How much is it?
1,700 per month.
But I do remember Louis complained about being very expensive in the past. So the other thing I want to add is, Andy, they did also mention there is a way you can bring your own infrastructure and then you just pay a license fee for Circle CI. So basically using their UI, but then under the cover, it could be using GKE or IBM Cloud to trigger the execution of the job. So that actually could be a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
I saw that option, but for 1,700, it sounds like it's a lot of work. I mean, an engineer maintaining that whole infrastructure will cost more than that.
That's true.
Yeah, I think our build on GKE are much more than this. Right?
Yeah, so I guess from our side, what we are trying to figure out is whether these new features are useful to us.
Well, let's go with it.
And number two is whether we are going to pay higher or lower. And I guess that information we'll have to go to Louis to figure out, because he's taking care of the bill.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll ask you, like the question you were asking them is, how much are we supposed to pay if we were on this new plan for
Right.
June, July, because that's a key indicator.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly the information we requested.
Yeah.
So maybe IBM can chime in for a few $100 and and maybe we can ask Cisco and other companies and we can go with even double. I don't think it will be a huge problem for.
Well, we'll have to ask for approval on our side if we
Oh,
do
okay.
need to chime in.
Okay,
I wish
every
we can
engineer,
just put in our credit card as we have done.
or we can ask engineers submitting PRs to pay a fee.
Like personal donations.
That's not
Yeah,
a
That's how you kill a community, I think. But yes.
Well, donations is not a problem. 1700 is released. Okay, let's try it. I mean, what?
So I guess the question is, do you guys experience any long wait time recently? I believe we had some problem a few months ago, but we expanded our subscription. And since then, I haven't heard many complaints about wait time.
But that's an argument for taking the new plan, because if we are not experiencing delays, it means that we are underusing the containers.
Right. If we are underusing that means we have over provisioned resources,
Exactly.
which is
right, it could be
not
cheaper.
yeah.
Plus, you're not
Um,
paying on the weekends. That's the other thing.
Look, we can move back. I mean, if we find that the bill goes above a certain level, we can go back.
Yeah, so how about this? So let's ask them for price quote for the past 2 months, 3 months, and then we could also ask them to have a very long trial period for us, so we would know, like within a quarter time frame, are we actually paying higher? Do we can we actually see improvement or any issue?
Can you still limit it? I mean, I understand it's more on demand, but can you
Yes.
say I don't want to spend more than that per month or something?
Right, it's the third one, right? It's a prepay model. You prepay your credit, and when you use up your credit,
That's perfect.
They
tell
ask
you
you for
about it.
approval. Yeah.
Yeah, they tell you about it.
Let's not waste more money on engineering time for this decision. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Okay, so in the meantime, if you have any feedback about Circle or if you have any pain point, feel free to talk to Lynn or myself. I guess we'll be talking to the Circle folks in a couple of weeks or so.
You have a private line now?
Do what?
A private line?
Oh, yeah, it looks like we also have got some tactical contact number that we can call.
Yeah. So it sounds like so one of the feature is the parallel, increase the parallel and be able to pull out to have more containers on demand. I think we don't need to make any changes on Circle as admin or anything. It's just if we choose to be on this performance plan trial, we get this feature automatically enabled. There was 2 other features. I think one costing is that we won't be able to leverage, which is the Docker image layering. That does require changes on our side. The other feature is to configure a different image size than the small size we have, because today all of our containers are on the same host size. So if we choose to have a different size, which I don't know why we need it, we have to configure it, have engineering look into how to figure out would that help us.
I think that's the resource class.
Yes, the resource class, it's like the t-shirt size for the VMs that runs the container.
there are 2 kinds of containers: the Docker containers, and they run VMs for the other kind of tests. I don't know how it's called. If they allow us to customize the image for the integration test, that will be a huge win.
Well, they said they allow us to customize the size of the virtual machine that runs the containers.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the size, the Docker image for the build?
For the integration test use a different kind of, there are Docker containers where we run the build, and the integration tests they run in some VMs where we can run Kubernetes basically.
Mm-hmm.
And those are not customizable, so we have to download everything again and again. It takes about 3 minutes.
Yeah, because it's a VM, right?
But would that cached VM layering would help you if you're on the same
Maybe.
host?
Maybe I'll take a look at the details.
But the problem is, I think it would help us today if we have fixed the worker. But now, if we are on this dynamic provision mode, you could be ends up a new VM that has no cache.
Let me look at the details.
Yeah, I think it would help if you are always on these favorite nodes of ourselves.
Yes, if we can customize the base image, it will definitely help. Otherwise, probably it will help, but I don't know. I'll take a look. I mean, optimizing the build process is always good. It will save money. So
yeah, so Costin, we can send this sales email where they highlight the new feature to you, so you can take
thank
a
you.
look.
I'll definitely take a look.
Okay, cool. I think that's it for today. If anyone has anything else that wants to be discussed, if not, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.